Yo, YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Salvation's Elite. We are back with another video, guys. And today, man, whoo, finally, we got the updated system from the Call of Duty League. So a few weeks ago, we got like a kind of brief outline of what was potentially going to happen. Finally, we got the step-by-step instructions of what's going to go down this year, the schedule for the league in 2020. Finally, the Call of Duty League has a real schedule, a real format, and an actual explanation of what they were trying to talk about a few weeks ago, and that's what we're going through today. Of course, we don't want to waste each other's time here, so let's get right into it. Let's go. So this video is going to be a lot of talking and a lot of explaining because there's a lot of different points to get through. There's basically 3 different areas that they finally explained and gave us the end-all be-all explanation about. So that's the weekend tournaments or the weekly events, then the CDL playoffs, and the Challenger series they finally updated us on, and the scheduling, how that's actually going to work out. So first, let's talk about the weekend tournaments because this was something that was really murky after their original explanation. So basically, they came up with a new pro point system for the pros specifically. So in the Challenger series, they got Challenger points, which are literally the exact same thing as pro points in the past. Now they have a new thing called CDL points. Really creative, I know. And basically how it breaks down is for every win that you have, every match that you win, your team gets 10 CDL points. And so that's basically how they're going to work the standings instead of going straight off of wins and losses or anything else. It's going to be awarded based off CDL points. It's strictly based off of how many matches you win. So every match that you win, you earn 10 points. We're going to get more into it in a second, but basically if you win the weekend event, you get a bonus 10 points for winning it. First actual games of the year are the Minnesota event in a few weeks here, which isn't technically a tournament. It's just going to be each team playing 2 matches against other teams that are currently assigned. You can see the full schedule as it's scrolling right here. So the first actual tournament will be in London on February 8th. So how it works is there's 8 teams at each one of these weekend events. They're going to be split into 2 pools of 4 teams each. But all they said listed here was that the league was going to decide the pools. We don't know if it's going to be random or if it's going to be somehow actually manually slotted in. We don't really know. So it's kind of worded weird because it says the teams that have won 2 matches in their group advance. But basically that just means the 2 teams that are at the top of their pools advance to the single elimination bracket. It's really not that much of a bracket. I mean, it's just 2 rounds. It's the semifinals and a finals. And that is what decides the champion of each weekend, which, I mean, in my opinion, is way more interesting than your average league matches. And it makes for a really fun weekend overall. And since the pool play matches actually count for points earned, it is a good system. I think it makes a lot of sense and works pretty well for what they're trying to do. It's a very unique system compared to like other esports like CSGO or even Overwatch, because I mean, even Overwatch, it goes just basically straight off of record, and that's how you determine playoffs, like the NBA or the MLS or NFL or whatever. That's how it goes. I really like this format. I think it's really unique and it makes a lot of sense. And like I said, so basically the max amount of points you can earn is 50 CDL points in a weekend. And that's if you win your 2 pool play matches, you win a semifinals, and then you win the finals. That's 40 points because you get 10 points for each win, and then a 10-point bonus. As you guys are seeing here, second place gets 30, third and fourth get 20, fifth and sixth get 10, and seventh and eighth get 0. So really, that's basically all it is for each tournament and each event or home weekend event. I think it really makes a lot of sense. It works well. I'm excited for it. But that, that's only the beginning of this whole announcement. Then they finally clarified what the CDL playoffs means and how you actually qualify for the CDL playoffs. So again, the CDL playoffs, how you qualify, it's all based off of the CDL points that you earn throughout the year. And of course, the top 4 teams are guaranteed playoffs. So at the end of the year, the top 4 teams are guaranteed playoffs. Then there's 4 like wildcard teams that are based off of the pro points as well. They call them wildcard teams because there's like a play-in to get into like the actual playoff bracket, the double elimination bracket. So the teams that are ranked between 4 and 8th have to play in a single elimination bracket. And then there's 2 teams that actually advance to the final 6. So that's why these matches actually mean something. You really want to make sure you finish top 4 on the year. I think it makes a lot of sense at the end of the day. Then those top 6 teams play in a double elimination bracket to decide who is the champion of Call of Duty. And in that 6-team tournament, the top 2 teams actually get a bye in the first round. So that's definitely something to fight for if you're already qualified for playoffs at the end of the year, is to go for that first round bye in the actual playoffs, which is definitely worthwhile. It just guarantees you and gets you one step closer to the championship. So 100% that bye is really important and really, really valuable. And of course, there's still the Challengers series. And so what they announced, first of all, was that the prize pool officially for CoD Minnesota would be split up like this, as you guys are seeing here. First place gets 80,000, second place gets 40,000, Third place gets 25, fourth gets 20, and then of course the rest is divvied out there. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's a pretty awesome prize pool for an amateur tournament. That's pretty respectable in the esports world. And I think it's gonna be a really, really exciting event. I mean, even though the CoD Minnesota event isn't actually a pro tournament, the AM tournament should be really exciting, and supposedly will be casted as well. So I think it'll be really fun to watch that as a community. There's a lot of really good players in the Path to Pro and the Challengers League. I think it should be a really, really cool tournament, and the end should be really exciting. And there's a lot of money on the line, so I think it's really worth watching. So the information that we actually got on the Challenger Series year long is that all Call of Duty League teams will host Challengers competitions in their home markets, and each home series event will include a Call of Duty Challengers tournament during the 2020 Call of Duty League season. So we're actually going to have some sort of tournament every single weekend, which is pretty exciting. I really didn't think that was going to be the case. I thought it was going to be maybe split up every other week or something like that. But apparently, there's going to be some sort of amateur opportunity every single weekend. It's not exactly clear how that's going to play out. It says there's going to be a bracket of 32 to 64 teams every single weekend, which is pretty crazy. And there will be a minimum of $10,000 in cash there will be a minimum of $10,000 cash prize for each event. So it's kind of weird. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work. Like, will every single elite amateur team be traveling those events? I mean, if it's only $10,000 in cash prize, is it really worth sending your whole team there? You only have a chance to win like $2,000 or $3,000, you know? So I don't really know how that's exactly going to work. Maybe it's more of a local opportunity to build like a local competitive scene than anything else, which is still really cool. And I'm definitely fully supportive of it, but I'm not exactly sure how it'll play out in the big picture for the amateur league. And then the biggest thing was they said select teams will host additional Call of Duty League Challenger events in their markets throughout the 2020 season with dedicated prizing. So again, they did say that the amateur league would have over $1 million worth of funding and prize pool for the year. So there will definitely be some leeway and some room to have some pretty big tournaments that'll still be hosted with massive open brackets with big prize pools still throughout the year as we move along. So I'm sure we're gonna get more information on that as we move forward. But I mean, thank goodness they finally gave us a big time update and an actual schedule and an actual format for how this league is going to work. I think I'm way more excited for it now than I was last week or, in weeks prior. I hope the whole community is a little bit fired up and pumped by the news, because I really do think it's good for the Call of Duty community, and it gives me a lot of hope for the Call of Duty League moving forward. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Of course, drop all of your opinions down below on the Call of Duty League and all of the pro scene as a whole, and any thoughts you might have. But as always, guys, from the voice of Abezy, I really do appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time. I'm out.